Due to some technical difficulties, we didn't record the video for the Uber talk, so we apologize. There's just a graphic for it. So
to follow, guys, you're going to hear us talking about the Uber situation that happened in Calgary just recently, but you're not going to see our wonderful faces for this mug on this short 20-minute clip. But remember, guys, to like, subscribe, comment on what you guys think about the Uber situation, and what you just like. Subscribe.
Yeah.
Check us out on Facebook.
Listen to the end of the Uber video because Barry here came up with a really good idea.
That's right.
So
check it out.
Tell us what you think.
Guys, just enjoy the video, the audio ahead, and just don't forget at the end to like, subscribe, and comment, okay?
Welcome again to another episode of Cool Discussions. This is Barry, I'm Chris, and today we're going to talk about Uber's non-victory here in Calgary. Now, Uber is a ride-sharing program that I never even heard about until this whole debacle happened.
I heard about it because I heard about it, like, obviously over the Twitter and the social media. Mm-hmm. So I have an understanding on what it is, and I think it's a great idea.
I didn't even think of ride-sharing as a possible business venture, but it's a great idea.
Smart.
It is. Lots of people need rides, and the taxi industry is
horrible.
Like the cable industry. Shot themselves in the foot because they've had power for so long. That's right. And now suddenly... So here in Calgary, as in most of Canada too, Uber came into the market and said, oh, we're going to do this. And then Calgary, as
in
the
their
city...
infinite wisdom.
In their infinite wisdom, yes. Said, no, we don't think you guys should. And then the taxi companies got involved and said, no, that's not fair. You know, they get to do this, but we have to pay license fees and get inspections and have a division over us saying what we can and can't do. I kind of get it, because the taxi industry is a heavily regulated industry here in Canada, and they pay a lot of money for these licenses that they have to... that they have to get to be able to drive people around. And then Uber comes in, they don't pay squat, and they get to make money. And it's like, well, I see the taxi industry's point.
I understand what they're saying, but at the same time, I don't compare Uber to a taxi service. It's not a taxi service. I don't look at it's no different than me giving you a ride and you giving me gas money. You know what I mean? All Uber is doing is giving you a platform to connect with other people who are willing to give you rides, really. Oh, and you're exchanging gas money. No, but what's the difference if you have five buddies?
But it's way more than gas money, though.
But what if you're... Okay, but what if... So say you got 5 buddies, right? Say you got 5 buddies who carpool to work, right?
Yeah.
So I'm driving for a month, and I say I'm going to charge you all $20 a week. Mm-hmm. Regardless of how much gas you use, that's my fee. Yeah. We've all agreed $20 a week. Now, what's the difference if I just go, a complete stranger picks me up at my house, charges me $30 to get me to and from my destination?
Yeah, but
compared to my buddy,
exactly like a taxi.
But it's. I don't think it is.
Yeah,
because
but
a taxi is a company that says we are
but
a
Uber is a company.
They're a ride sharing.
Yeah, but they are a dispatch agency for people to pick you up, whereas a taxi industry has a dispatch and people who work for them that are paid.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, what's the difference between the 5 buddies and Uber and a taxi then? So
nothing.
If they're
no.
So then why shouldn't the buddy who drives his friends to work or drives his friends around for gas money have to pay a licensing fee for being a private ride sharing?
Because it's a buddy system, right?
Okay, but what if I just have a stranger that I pick up and I go, hey.
Whoa. I'm just saying, I see what the taxi companies are saying.
I understand.
Like, we are heavily regulated. If Uber can do this, we should be able to do this. They just want to be on equal grounds with Uber.
Yeah.
The only thing is the taxi industry is saying Uber should be classified as a taxi and have to go through.
It should be the other way around.
But for that matter, you could just deregulate the taxi industry a bit, right? So that's that in a nutshell is the Uber argument. What we just had.
This is exactly the Uber argument. It's a company getting butthurt in our free market, which isn't so free. You know what I mean? That's what makes me a little bit angry, is that we're supposedly a free market society, and it's like another company wants to come in and create competition and create and give better value than what we have, and the company that exists goes, "Hey, government, can you get in here? Hey, we agreed to the terms that you gave us. Now these guys are coming in there's no terms, there's no regulation for this company." Because it's a brand new company. It's a new business model, right? It's a brand new business model.
Yeah.
Now they're saying, so this company comes in and goes, well, there's no regulations. We can operate. And they're going, whoa, you're a new business model. We need to get a piece of it. Give us our money before you can operate. And it's like, well, that's not such a free market now,
that's
is it?
just the way it works. Is like you have to build. Because one of the arguments against Uber is like, okay, you guys aren't licensed. How do we know what kind of people are driving? Because for the taxi industry, you have to be vetted. You have to know who's working for you.
So
they have to go through criminal background checks.
That should be up to Uber. It shouldn't be up to the government to regulate the company to do that. So as we as a society, our dollar should speak louder than the government. So me choosing to use Uber over a taxi company, Associated Taxi, Yellow Cab, whatever, should say, I trust Uber more than I trust the taxi companies right now.
Yeah.
So that way, so if they come in and they take a bigger market share than the taxis should have to compete with these guys.
No, I'm
Right?
not. Okay, but the taxi people say we can't compete on a fair ground because a taxi license is like $250,000.
Well, that's ridiculous. See, I don't agree with that. It shouldn't be that
But
expensive.
that's what the taxi people are saying. Is like, you know what? We have to jump through these hoops. You're doing exactly what we're doing.
Yeah,
you guys should have to jump through the same hoops.
Yeah.
Now, Uber.
I don't know if it's the same as what they're doing. I still think there's a little bit different, because when you're in a taxi, your company vehicles, your private vehicles, right? Like, where does it...
No, but most taxis are owned by the people that drive them.
I don't think so. I think they're owned by the company. I talked to some guy who did a taxi, and he said he had to pay anything above, I think, $1,000 a month was his.
Oh, okay.
I think that's what it was. They paid the company X amount of dollars for all their something.
Well,
I can't
dispatch, licenses...
Yeah, I can't remember the exact number,
but...
But I'm not 100% sure on the model. And I don't use taxis or Uber because I got my own car and all that. Yeah. And I thought about, if Uber came, I was like, well, maybe I could do that for a little bit extra cash, because it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad idea.
Uber is actually a really good idea. It's the cable versus streaming.
Yeah, it's that argument. Yeah.
It's kind of very similar to that argument. But so Uber ended up losing, so they were basically kicked down at Calgary for a little while, and then the Calgary City Council sat down and talked about it, blah blah blah. They
in a sense they made it so the business model is unprofitable. It seems like they made it so that people who do it on a not like a part-time basis wouldn't make any money. That's
true.
how it comes across.
Because just now they announced that there's going to be the new rules and regulations, which were fine. And these Uber, so Calgary went, we're going to do this. They're going to relax some of the taxi regulations. The limo stuff got all sorted out somehow, because limousines before Uber were doing the same thing. It's like, you know what? Why can't we just do trips off to the side? Whereas, according to city bylaws, you have to pre-order half an hour early. You have to charge a minimum amount for... These are limos. You have to charge a minimum amount, etc., etc. And limo drivers are like, oh, we can't do this. All of a sudden, Uber comes along. Everything gets muddled. Now that there's less mud in the water, the limo companies came out a little bit farther ahead.
Yeah.
Taxis now have less regulations,
which is good.
Yeah, which is great. This is what we want to see.
You're not going to see any change in fares, and like I don't know the rates between a comparable to a taxi.
Okay.
Uber.
Now I do know this. Uber tends to be a little cheaper.
Yeah.
However, Uber can charge premium fees.
Yeah, premium fees, yeah.
So there was an incident in Edmonton where a guy caught an Uber taxi on New Year's Eve, and he was charged $2,200 for a 20-minute trip.
That's insane.
And he complained about it, obviously, and some stuff got sorted. But wow, just so Uber's allowed to do that. Taxis aren't,
What's the difference?
right?
But that comes back to then we as a society should speak with our dollar.
No,
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is the problem about. This is the problem that I have with government intervening and regulating stuff. Is that we as a society we should speak with our dollar and go, hey, this company's doing bad things. Let's not go there. Oh, this company X uses child labor in China. Let's stop buying it. But nobody's going to do that. People still buy it because it's cheap.
yep.
You know. So now I'm going to backtrack a little bit here.
Oh, yeah.
What's the difference? So if I'm part of a Facebook group that has a whole bunch of people on it, right? What's the difference between saying that you have to have to be a private entity ride sharing company, you have to do licenses and have all those inspections and stuff like that. So if we're not part of everybody's not friends on the group, right? But they post on there, hey, I'm drunk, I need a ride. Mm-hmm. What's the difference? And if I give you $20 or I buy you a case of beer for giving me a ride,
Okay.
that's kind of where
It comes down to
the line is blurred.
Though that's the blurred line.
You're
It's
telling me that so I don't want the government to
the government has found a way. Hey, you guys are making money. We need to tax it.
And that's what pisses me off.
But
It's like,
okay, and it's kind of fair because taxes are what pays for our services. So if Uber is going into the market and not having to pay taxes,
but then tax the drivers on it. Tax the drivers on their income that they make.
But it's difficult. The only way to do it is through Uber.
Yeah, but they have the records of like your income and stuff like that, right? So
that's the thing. So they do it through. What they're saying is for Uber to come in, they want them to get a business license. The business license is going to cost you X amount a year. Your employees are going to have to be background checked.
That's what
they're going to have inspections.
That's what stifles I think any entrepreneur is the fact that they have to be a legitimate business. Like if you and I wanted to be a legitimate business, we'd have to copyright Coull Discussions. We'd have to get a business license saying we're Coull Discussions Incorporated or LP, and and that would cost thousands and thousands of dollars for lawyers and for registration and blah 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 blah, right?
But that comes down to so somebody else can't steal your ideas.
Yeah, but
it's that way you have a legal standing.
So what if I just made an app?
Yeah.
Didn't call it ride sharing, called it Rides Are Us, say.
Yeah.
Right, and it was just a community where you sign in and you're available to give rides to people who
But
have
it
a little bit
comes
too much to drink. Now
it comes down to the money.
But there is no money. There is no money charged to my company. There's no money exchange.
But if there's
exchange, so I pick you up. We agree. Oh, you're going 15 minutes. Okay, give me 20.
But here's the thing. If there's no money exchanged to them, like your app,
yeah, it's just
you're not a company, so you're not making money.
Well,
so
what if I'm using advertising and stuff like that? I'm using advertising for company,
then you're making money.
But I'm not. It's off advertising.
But that's still making money. That's still considered an income, and an income is what they want to tax. Yes, that's how they tax businesses.
Oh yeah, I get what you're saying, but it's like I don't think the government should have their hands in it. It makes me angry that a company that's coming in to help and to, we sit here and talk about drunk driving. Let's curb drunk driving. There's a whole bunch of things that I could say on this, but you want to curb drunk driving. You're getting a program to help alleviate the pressure from taxi cabs that obviously can't handle it, especially during peak times of Christmas, New Year's, holiday times when people are out drinking, having a good time. People are waiting hours for taxis. So a company's coming in and saying, hey, I'm not saying they're on a white horse. I'm sure they do bad things. I'm sure there's bad things about them. Mm-hmm. But they're coming in here saying, hey, we want to come in. We want to operate our business here. And the government's going, sorry, guys. So, number one,
they're not going, sorry, guys. They're just going, you guys have to follow the rules.
Yeah, they're making it impossible for them to operate.
Well, I don't think the rules that they gave are that improbable because in Edmonton, they pretty much did the same thing. Mm-hmm. And Uber said, yeah, sure. Here in Calgary, they made, you guys got to do this, and Uber went, no, we're done.
Why did they say that? Why? I don't understand why they would do that then.
Well, but that's the thing.
I can understand if I'm an Uber driver. I don't want to pay $500 to start up my to be an Uber driver. I don't want to pay that. I'd be like, no. I would do the same thing. I wouldn't be
if
a
your
driver.
license is like $500 for a year,
But still, it's a lot of money to pay up front. You know what I mean?
but
If
you're
you-
licensed, you're vetted, you're insured. Because if you get pulled over and you're caught doing something you're not supposed to do, you're in trouble.
But then I say, oh, we're just on our way to so and so's place. It's not a buddy. It's just there's ways around that kind of thing. It's not- you know what I mean? It's you don't have to be like, oh, I'm an Uber driver taking this guy to his destination. No, I'm just driving this guy home.
True enough.
I'm driving him to the airport. Done. Now I don't have to say anything. You know what I mean? Like now what?
No, okay, I agree. The regulations are a little too tight for taxis.
So
they
then
should
if-
have been relaxed
so then
to
if-
begin with.
If
They could be easier to make money.
why didn't the taxis just go like this? Oh, okay, you're going to let Uber in with relaxed things? Okay, we're folding our company and we're becoming a ride-sharing company. Done. Solve your problem. You're not a taxi company anymore. You're all ride sharers now.
I don't know.
Done. I've just solved my problem. I don't have to buy licenses. I don't have to do annual inspections. I don't have to do anything like that. I've just beat the rule instead of going to the government going, help, help, help. Our business is going to fail. Why didn't you think outside the box and go, okay, we're all going to become Uber. I'm going to start a company called
I hope
Rides
one
or
of
Us.
you guys are listening because it's like, hey,
Rides
that
or
might-
Us. now.
Who knows? That might actually. Oh, you could even just call it Yellow Tab.
Yeah. I'm Yellow Tab, ride sharing. And it's like, okay, now my drivers don't have to do anything and I can just rake in whatever their Uber percentage is.
Yeah,
You know what I
exactly.
mean? Like,
So, hey, you know what?
Isn't that a good
we are
question?
not lawyers. We don't necessarily understand the intricacies of bylaws and things like that. So why doesn't this work? I don't know. That sounds like a brilliant idea, actually. It's like, why don't you just
if I
fold
was,
the company and
if I
go...
was at the top, the CEO of Associated Cab, I'd be like, yeah, absolutely, bring them
So,
in. We're just
yeah.
going to fold our company. We're going to close our doors. We're going to liquidate all of our assets.
There we go. We just solved the problem.
and
All
we're
to
going to
the-
become a ride sharing program.
Yeah, hey,
No problem. Done.
do one of you guys out there know why that wouldn't work? If so, leave a
Let us
comment
know.
on the bottom, because
Sounds like it would work to me.
the average Joes. Yeah, exactly. Why wouldn't that work? Should, because if Uber can do it,
Why can't a taxi company?
yeah. The only thing is the infrastructure
Yeah.
is there instead.
Absolutely.
And they would have a whole set of staff and they could just make their own times and stuff.
Yep.
There we go.
You know what? This is totally off topic, but I don't think our video was recording that whole time.
Fuck. No, it wasn't.